Hi there, everyone. This is Carla, and I am your relationship doula, helping men and women bravely birth peace in the pieces of their lives. It's been a minute since I've had a conversation with Carla, and the month of June, we have Father's Day coming up. And I heard this wonderful bits of pieces of a story that I wanted to share with you guys as a pre Father's Day conversation. And so, my guest today is a young woman named Dia. And she's going to share a part of her journey and her story that we're calling a journey of hope, finding her father. Now, I will do a disclaimer. I watch Maury and I watch Paternity Court, and my family members, I was like, why are you watching that stuff? But I'm always interested in human emotions. And sometimes people have a right to hear their story and have their voice, even though they may ask questions that are never answered. They have a right to ask questions and to see. So, Dia, tell us, well, just share your name and any little information that you want to share about yourself. If you want to share your educational background or what you do, any of that, can you share a little bit about you?
So I am Dia. I am currently I'm a high school math teacher, and I also teach math GED at a technical college in Milwaukee. I got my undergrad degree from Alabama State in mathematics, and then I'm currently getting my MBA from Milwaukee School of Engineering.
Okay, yes, and ASU. Just a shout out to that HBCU. And so mathematics and all of that. So I met Dia through one of my daughters, and so I've been able to just get a glimpse of their different activities and lives over the years since undergrad and all of that. So I'm always tickled pink when I hear the achievements and the different milestones that they are making because I am just proud of the young women I've gotten to know through my children. And many times people wonder what that generation is doing. And I'm like, they are making strides and beating to their own beat, which I so appreciate and love. And so now tell me a little bit about your growing up, Dia, because we're going to get into the part of the story of the journey of finding your father. But growing up, were you an only child? Did you have other siblings? What does that look like for you growing up?
Mhm. So growing up, it was me and my sister. I have a younger sister. She is 5 years younger than me. So we grew up with our mom and dad in the house. It was probably, I want to say, before high school. So around like eighth grade, our mom and dad got a divorce or whatever. And so it was just my mom and my sister. And then I have a stepfather, but I'm trying to figure out when he entered the picture. I have a stepfather now, so I can't remember when he entered. They got married my freshman year in college. So,
Okay, okay. So now, growing up, you have your mom and dad. At that point in time, did you think that your dad was your dad? What was your thought process as a young
well, yes. So the man that I have been calling my dad was my sister's father,
person?
which actually, growing up, I thought that he was my father until I was 16.
Okay.
So my dad, he adopted me when I was a baby. So I never knew anything because my last name and my sister's last name was the same. Like I
Okay.
knew that I was born with a different last name, but I just thought that was because my mom and dad wasn't married at the time that I was born. So
Mhm.
yeah, when I was 16 years old, I got this message on Facebook, and it was from this lady, and she was saying how she wanted to get to know me, because she was my auntie, and I got all this family, and I'm like, wait, how are you my auntie? And she was like, I'm your dad's sister, and I was like, no, my daddy only got one sister and it's not you. And so she was like, no, Kenny is not your dad. Your dad is Eddie, da 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 da. So she said that, this long story short, it was this man that she said was my father. So I went to my mom and I'm like, hey, this lady said that this man is my father. Like, what is this? What is this about? Mind you, 16 years old, okay? 16-year-old girl. So my mom was just, shutting it out. She wasn't giving me any information. And just like a normal kid, I went digging. And so the man, at the time, I thought the man was my father, so I was getting to know him and all of that. And yeah, it was this whole little fiasco because I felt like I went through like a little rebel phase because my mom wasn't giving me information at that time. And then the man that was this particular man passed
Person, right?
away sophomore year in college.
Okay, okay.
And
So
so
now, but wait,
I just
Dia,
thought, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead. You just thought what? Because no, what I wanted to
Oh,
ask
so
is,
I just thought that, I'm sorry, it's a delay in the audio, so I don't want to mess it up. Go ahead.
because no, the question I wanted to just ask a little bit more, because here you are 16 and somebody out of the blue shares the information with you that you have no clue is out there. And so I know you said you touched base with your mom, but what were your emotions? Because I know you said you went through possibly a rebel stage, but it was just like, what is this? Is this unbelievable? Did you talk with your sister? Who did you have to bounce it off of?
16, I can't quite remember really. And I don't think I talked to my sister because if I was 16, then my sister was 11. So I know I
Okay.
didn't talk to her.
Mm-hmm.
And just with our relationship, I didn't want her to think like, our sisterhood was just invalidated. I don't know. I was 16.
Right, 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 right,
But
right.
my mom, my mom, yeah, she didn't give me any type of information. And so I feel like that's when I was just doing whatever just to, figure out who this man was. But the man ended up stealing my identity.
Oh my.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was saying how he wanted to open up this bank account so he can give me money and, provide for me because he lived in Arkansas. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, cool. So I'm giving this man my information, just searching for a little daddy. Like I didn't grow up with a father. And he stole my identity.
Oh
Because I remember
no.
when I was, yeah, freshman year of college, my mom was trying to make me before freshman year of college, she was trying to make me this bank account. And the bank was like, no, she cannot open up a bank account. She owes this amount of money and all of this. It was just this whole fiasco. And it was just ridiculous. So after
Oh,
that, that's when I didn't mess with him at all. And then
uh-huh.
that's when he passed away in sophomore year.
Okay, so actually, you didn't know at that time if he really was. He was just somebody who just came into your life after this lady said she was her auntie, and then got some information, did an identity theft on you, and then you heard he passed away.
Yeah,
So,
so I thought for sure that he was. It was nobody telling me that he wasn't. Like my
okay.
mom or my grandmother. Nobody told me that he wasn't. So in my
Mhm.
mind, that was my father.
Okay. So after he betrayed you in such a callous way, that way, you said it was a sophomore year in college. He passed away. You got that news. Um, take me forward to the next time you now decide to, and why you may have this topic may have resurfaced about a birth father.
Okay, so on to father number three. So I was after I got married, I moved back home. And so when I moved back home, my grandmother would be watching TV, like the little highlights on the high school basketball games, and it was this girl that was playing, and she would be like, "That's your sister. That's your sister." And I'm like, "Granny, how is she my sister?" She was like, her dad is your dad. Like, I know that her dad is your dad. So, old folks be talking. So you just thinking like, yeah, okay, Granny, whatever, and just keep going. But it kept bothering me. Like, I would see this girl, and it was just like, I look like you. Like, I really do look like you. And so then you get to searching up on Facebook and just looking at pictures. And it's just like, is this man really my father? So I would ask my mom and was like, well, hey, because the man was my mom's high school sweetheart. So I would
Okay.
be like, hey, mom, is this man, is he my father? And she was like, no, your granny crazy. Leave it alone. And that would be it. So, of course, now 20, what, 20, how old am I? 26 at the time. I'm still digging. So at 16, I was digging. 26, I'm digging. And I just kept seeing signs that I thought that was God talking to me, saying, like, pursue it. Like, that, just act. So I ended up Facebooking him, and I introduced myself, saying like my mom, when I was born, and I asked him, would he take a paternity test? And he said, yeah.
Okay. Oh, no, no, no hesitation or anything. No, no reply back. I've never known this lady out because we know they said they were high school sweethearts. So no negative feedback. He was just like, sure.
Yep, he was just like, sure. And so my husband was like, well, you already know off rip he's a good man, because I would have just ignored your message. Like, who are you?
Because I understand when your husband says that because again, this is like you said, 20 odd years later, a blast, something from the past that is just like,
Hmm.
okay, so right, some guys would have been like, this 20 odd years later, if it were so, I would
Hmm.
have known something. But okay, so
Hmm.
again, like I said, I watched paternity tests and all that. So you guys do the swab and all that stuff. Do it by mail. Do you meet then? How does that
Yep.
go?
So so I ended up telling him, like, I because this is my search, I'm gonna pay for it. All you have to do is just show up at the clinic and get swabbed, and that's it. So the reason he said that he was doing it because he can sense that it was bothering me, and he wanted to give me some type of
Closure.
clarity or closure with it. And I was just like, okay. But I feel like something in him thought that it was. Like, I don't
Hmm.
know. I don't know. I still think that he said no, but
Hmm.
whatever. But it was a cotton swab, and he went earlier part of the day because I didn't want to see him, just because I didn't know how my emotions was gonna be. So he went in the earlier part of the day. I went in the afternoon. It was a cotton swab. We got our test results 5 days later.
Okay.
So when I'm getting this test result, I was so nervous. It was in the email. So I called the lady because she said it was 5 days. So it was 5 days. In the morning, I called her like, "Hi, I'm Dee. I was supposed to get the test results. Da 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 da." She said, "Oh, I'm actually about to email you right now. Would you like to?" I said, "No, bye." So so I was waiting for the email result, and I was just so scared because I had my girlfriend log into my email to open it up. Like, I didn't want to see it.
I can imagine. It's just like the anticipation. It's just like I don't know how to feel or what I'm going to feel because before you tell us about that, you said you did move back home. So was he living in that area all this time as well too, around that area home?
Yes. Yes. So he is like 10 minutes down the road.
Okay, okay,
Yep.
okay,
And
okay.
then me and, like, his daughter, my sister, we have been in three of the same schools.
Wow. Okay, so now you have your
Hmm.
girlfriend log into your email, and so then what? She calls you, texts
So
you.
she's reading. Well, we're on FaceTime, and so she's like reading all of the little stuff, and it's all these words that I just don't know because I'm a math major. I don't know anything scientifically, and I'm like, well, can you just tell me what the percent is? And so she told me, and it was 99.9%, and I was just like,
Oh,
wow,
oh, wow.
yeah.
Oh my. So who made the first move then? Did you call him or did he text you or call you once he got his results or what happened?
So So the company said that they were going to email both of us, but I was just like, I don't think he got it. Like I kept saying, like, I don't think he got it. So I waited the day. And then when I didn't hear from him, I just forwarded the email to his email.
Mhm.
And so then like 10 minutes later, he wrote me on Facebook saying like I'm so sorry and just very apologetic, and he said that he was going to tell his family as soon as possible so he can start building his relationship with me, like
Mm.
right away.
So what was he saying he was sorry about?
Because he said he was sorry. He said he had a bad relationship with his father, and he never, like, his kids are his world, and so he was like, I just hate that I missed out on so much in your life,
Mhm.
because at that time, what, I graduated high school, graduated college, I got married, I had a baby, like all of these
Mhm.
monumental events already happened in my life,
Mhm.
and he wasn't there.
But just to clarify for our audience, he never knew, correct? Did he ever know that your mom was expecting you? Did he know? Because I know you said they were high school sweethearts.
So I don't know, because they both telling me different stories now, and I just feel like they each have some type of like trauma with that relationship that they're not even like visiting. But I believe so. I The story that he tells me is that they hooked up one more time, and then he just said that he didn't want to deal with my mom anymore or whatever. Her story is she she didn't know exactly who, but it just don't sound like my mom. Like she didn't know if it was the man that passed or the man, or if it was my father. But I think that they had this relationship of going on and off, and so when he like stopped talking to her finally and she was pregnant, she probably just said that she could just do it herself, because I come from a long line of like independent women and women that had their kids by themselves, so that's what I believe. And so
Mhm.
he said that he asked her, was I his? And she said no, which she did confirm. She used to tell him like no or whatever. But he did say it was a incident where he saw her at a basketball game, and she said that his daughter was waiting on him. And he thought it was just a joke or whatever like that. But
Mhm.
yeah. But when it all came out, everybody in the family was saying like, yeah, I knew he was your father. Like everybody was, yeah, I don't know.
I know. Don't you hate that? It's like, yeah, after the fact, oh, we knew that, but it's like, how come nobody told you, huh? Or let
Yeah,
you in on the secret?
nobody. Yeah.
So, with this information, how many siblings or other stuff were added to you at this point in time, aunties or whatever, in your adult life?
So my father, going back to my dad growing up, his family, he had a brother and a sister, and only the sister had a child. So I only had one first cousin. So it was
Mhm.
me, my sister, and then our one first cousin. So now with my biological father, I have another sister and I have two brothers. And then I have another auntie and an uncle. My auntie has three kids, and my uncle has three kids. So I went to one first cousin to seven first cousins. Well, six plus my one. But yeah.
Mhm. Mhm. And so for that, I know there's so many mixed emotions because now you met your dad's sister siblings there. Was his mom or parents still alive? Did you meet that side of the family? And how did that interaction go?
Yeah, so so at first he had, I'm trying to think of the way that he told. Of course, he told his wife first. Then he told his kids. So then we were hanging out. Then he told his auntie, and me and her hung out. And so I was just going on this like little tour of, meeting people. And then he told his mom last, and she was just so excited. And she was just like, "Well, you're my first grandchild. You're still gonna be my first grandchild, and we just have to, make the situation better, I guess."
Uh-huh.
But yes, I
Because
have a grandmother.
because one of the other things you mentioned that one of your sisters, you realized you guys went to the same three schools. So
Hmm.
was she younger, like your sister you grew up with, like 5 years younger, or was it just a couple of years? So you guys may
So
have
I'm
crossed.
3 years. I'm 3 years younger than her. So we were always just like literally in the same school.
Wow. Oh my. That is just amazing to do that. And now, as you said, you've had several milestones that happen, but here it is. Your dad has welcomed you into his life. And I know for
Hmm.
some of you listening, that may not be your particular story or journey in finding a biological parent. So I know, I remember a person who took an ancestry test and contacted some people because she sees that, oh, she's a first cousin to them and wants to know who could possibly be her biological father. And her story did not end well because the person, um, that the people that needed to be tested to see if they were her biological father did not want to have anything to do with the process. So I was excited to hear your journey and your story because it is not the outcome for everyone. And so I just wanted to
Hmm.
say that. But if you're searching for your parent, biological mother or father, you have a right to answers, but we understand that they have a right to their response too. One of the things I share with people is that each of us are responsible for our own baggage. And yes, we would like people to cooperate with our journey, but we still need to respect their choices because Dia, I know your mom's not that old, but still a few years ago, things were different for young women and others when it came to having a baby and how you gave information to your parents. Because I still think back in the day, my age group, they told us all kind of horrible stories. Oh, baby came from stork. You used to think if you kiss somebody, you might get pregnant. So you never even really knew if you got pregnant or did something because you had misinformation. And that's the come I don't believe in telling children like, oh, the baby's in your stomach. Is no, they're in your uterus because a man has a stomach, but he can't have a baby. It's in your uterus. Use the correct terminology
Hmm.
for people to understand and for children to understand because yeah, I know many people who didn't realize they were pregnant or thought they were pregnant because they got a kiss and didn't know what it meant when you did the full thing. So, just giving an explanation for some young person who's out there and may feel a certain way towards their mother or father, please have grace with them.
Hmm.
It was not, it was different than what it is now. And that's because I appreciate the mindset that the young people have now because yeah, they put it all out. In our day, it's just like you don't air your dirty laundry. So we never could
Hmm.
get stuff dried or resolved
Hmm.
because we didn't
Hmm.
talk about it. Okay, we
Hmm.
have a question. Dia, did you go in with any expectations prior to the results or was it just closure?
I wanted him not to be my father. Because I was just, I don't know, I just knew how like the disappointment of my, like, I was mad at my mom. So I didn't want that to happen. So I wanted him not to be my father so I could just go on with life as it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because you just would rather not have known then. If it wasn't him, just say, okay, I just
Hmm.
don't know, and that's it. You're ready for that
Well, I just
possibility.
would have just accepted that the man that passed was my father, because at that point I was still thinking that.
Okay, because again, even though there was no DNA, you would just say, okay, by default, it was him, and that's closure. He's gone.
Hmm.
No more thought about that. Great
Hmm.
question. Thank you for that, because it is. So now I want to go into your investigative skills when you were talking about it. So some other young person out there who may whisper or hear something. As I say, I do watch the Maury show and some other things. And I remember they talked about this one situation where the little boy in the classroom whispered to the little girl because she was biracial and said, those aren't your parents, because again, in her mind, she didn't realize that two people not of her race could produce her. And that's when she started asking questions. So sometimes somebody may find out because a family member is whispering something, or someone tells you or reaches out to you. So, how would you tell someone who wants to search for that? Um, should everybody search? Because I know mentally, like you said, you come from a strong line of women, so I know you're mentally tough. You could handle stuff. Do you think everybody should search?
Not anymore. Not as much as I thought I was. I think that you should really zone in the possibility of like, how would you feel if it wasn't, or how would you feel if it was? Like, really, get that together in your head, because I thought that I was, but I've cried more since the paternity test, like in years, like in all of my adulthood in these past couple of months, because it's so much emotions with it, and like expectations of families, and then like trying to balance all out everybody, especially like with Father's Day coming up. At this point, I have my dad, which is still in my life, and then I have my stepfather, and then I have my biological dad, and then I got a husband. So it's just like I have all of these fathers, and now I'm just like anxious on what am I about to do on Sunday, and
I
trying
know.
to, just balance it out. Or like with holidays, holiday just passed, and I was with my biological father. My sister was with our dad, and then my mom was just like, "Well, why are you not over here?" So it's a lot with this, and I don't know. You just have to
Oh,
make sure that you are sure. And I wish I would have. So now I'm in counseling. I wish I would have did the counseling prior to me, searching and doing all of this.
okay. So that's a great point. I want people to hear and understand. If you're going to search for a biological parent, do the pre counseling, and I think that is so good. I'm so glad, Dia, that you are now doing the counseling after the fact, like you said, all those emotions. But it does make sense to be prepared ahead of time, to be aware of what kinds of emotions that you may experience, what kind of letdown you may have, or to get you ready for the possible disappointment or rejection, or the good news, or or the reconnection that this is
Hmm.
your biological parent, because there's so many mixed emotions, like you say. They could be as you say, baggage from the old relationship that your parents may not want to deal with. And so now as an adult, you feel
Hmm.
tied or torn. Not that you have to make a choice, but they may see your loving the other parent as disloyal, or that, I wasn't enough. And so now, because you're a caring person, you
Hmm.
care about their emotions, but you want to express yours as well too. And so, oh, but I
Hmm.
could imagine four
Hmm.
different places you need to be for the holiday, and trying to decide which one and not hurt people's feelings is just not a place that you want to
Yeah.
be in. So, guys, if you're going to do this,
Yeah.
therapy beforehand, before you do that prep work,
Yes.
and get ready for that. So I like hearing I love that you shared that information for us. But we're going to wrap up. But because I said yes, he's just like, Mama, it's too early in the morning. Let me get you some time back to you. So as we wrap up, Dia, I know you said you did your searching on Facebook or because you had a starting point. Any suggestions for anyone else who may want to have a starting point of where to look or what to do? Um, if they want to, after they've decided they want to look and have been getting some counseling beforehand and they think they may be ready for that next step. You had someone who mentioned something in passing, so you had a starting point. Any
Mhm.
suggestions for someone else as to where a starting point could be for them?
I would say just talk to elder family members because
Okay.
they know everything, and um just try. I don't know, because it's just so hard. Like I don't know what I would do if it went the other way. Like, I think I had to realize that I was entering a family that was already like established. So like my stepmother, like she don't want anything to do with me, like at all. So I took that hard, but I had to realize that like her world is like blown up, you know? And I can't, like you said, I can't control her emotions, like, or how she reacts to the situation, because I her child was the firstborn of the family. Her child was the first grandchild, and now here I am, her husband, high school sweetheart. Like, oh, now she's the first grandchild, and she's the first. It's just because you're interrupting a family that's already established. So it's very tricky. Like, I don't even know what came over me, because yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Uh,
Just try to
that
talk to as many people as you can.
that's because I like that. And again, I'm glad you mentioned that about the stepmom because again, if you are that stepdad or that stepmom now that hears this news, I would encourage you to get some therapy and some counseling so that you can process your
Yes,
feelings and
yes,
emotions. And so,
yes.
because keep in mind, the child has had nothing to do with what occurred, and nor does the current spouse, and so therefore sometimes
Hmm.
we don't know how to share our thoughts and our feelings without being angry instead of helping a therapist or someone help you process through that to understand that you may feel angry or upset, but that emotion, once you filter that out, when you get down to the nitty gritty, this was a history that happened before you came on the scene. So there's no reflection. It's different if there was cheating involved. That's a whole different dynamics that we have to get involved with, that you have to
Yeah,
do.
and
But
that's what I was struggling with that a lot. But
mhm,
it was, yeah, because it was just like they met 3 years after I was born. So I was like,
mhm,
you were nowhere in the picture, and I didn't
mhm,
understand why she had such a big
mhm,
problem with me.
mhm,
So I
mhm.
just,
Yeah, but
everybody has
again,
their own emotions.
it's not, it may seem as a problem with you, but really it's at the situation. So making sure you definitely realize it just like as a as a child when we take it out on our parent when they say that we can't go to do something, or if we wanted to, they caught us when we were drinking alcohol and we shouldn't because we're not of age yet. You get angry with them, but you realize it's just the situation. And so even with that, yeah, she will process, and she's an adult. That's her issue. She will resolve that. So as the child, though, I am grateful that you pressed on with the relationship with your dad, because again, you have no other agenda other than trying to get to know this other half of you that existed and you were totally unaware of. And so
Right.
now, but again, therapy for everybody involved. If you have to do family therapy, group therapy, that's so important. It really is, especially with that. Because did you discover him before COVID or after COVID? When was it? How long ago was it
The
for you?
beginning of COVID.
The beginning
No,
of
no, no, no,
COVID.
no, no. It was no, 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 no. It was. This is part two of COVID this year, right? So the
Yes,
end, like March. Like
March
this is
was.
just recent March.
Wow, right.
Hmm.
So it was, so again, I say we've had a unique time because we've been cooped up COVID, and so things have been, it was abnormal, even though now we're moving into a new normal pre-COVID-19. So just all of those emotions that people were feeling with the fear of COVID and all of that, and then hearing this particular news coming on, it kind of exacerbate the situation. But again, I've heard how you dealt graciously with grace with everything that's coming, and I am so proud of this young woman because again, people back in the day wouldn't have handled it that well. And I applaud you
Oh,
that, in spite of all of this, being a
thank you.
mom, understanding and navigating your own relationship as well, to knowing how much work you have to put in a relationship as a wife. So you got wife, mom, and now you got three sets of parents, three sets of fathers that you having to contend with. So kudos to you, darling. Kudos to you. So,
No.
guys, I am going to wrap up, but I just wanted for your pre Father's Day that you hear a story of a father and a daughter reconnecting. And oftentimes, we give our males a bad rap, and I am not about bashing our men. And I understand the tremendous stress that happens growing up a black male in America. And but I thought this story had a wonderful ending and is continuing the saga and the journey as she learns more about her father, her siblings, her auntie and uncles, and her grandmother on that side of the family. Because keep in mind, as Dia said, she came from you were loved. You were
Hmm.
loved
I
in your family.
was. Hmm.
You know, I'm like, this Dia didn't have want for nothing. From what
I
I've
did
heard.
not.
So this is just icing on the cake for her. So any last words? We have here amazing story. You're so deserving of having those extra family members slash dads to love on you. That's from Lindita. Mhm.
Thank
So
you.
any last words before we wrap up and I let you go back to being the best mom you are?
I just want to say if you are searching for a parent, you deserve the right to know. And
Yeah.
don't let nobody stop you.
Yeah, that's right. And so I just want to say for that, you deserve the right to know. And please get some counseling beforehand and continue the counseling
Hmm.
afterwards because your
Hmm.
mental peace of mind is important. It's priceless. So you need to be prepared for that journey. But guys, I'm going to wrap up. I haven't had conversation with Carla in a while, but I'm actually going to have a guest next week for Father's Day. I'm going to have my first male on the show. Donnie Smith is going to be my guest as we talk about a toolkit he's creating for men because oftentimes women we may tend to go out and seek help, therapy or coach, and it's a little bit more difficult sometimes for men to ask for help. And so I hope you tune in next Sunday to listen to Donnie and I's conversation. But my name is Carla. I'm your relationship doula, helping women and men bravely birth peace in the pieces of their lives. You guys have a great day.